Full inhale here. And sigh it out. Taking your hands to your belly, just allow your belly to expand and draw back to the center line. As you inhale, let the belly expand out. And as you exhale, allow the belly to draw back in. Just taking a few deep breaths here, allowing yourself to arrive in your space, on your mat, and tuning more into the body and breath. Start to scan up the body here, checking in today. Acknowledging those areas that might be a little tender or sore. Areas that are feeling a little tense. Maybe a little closed off. Just be mindful of those areas as we start to settle into our stillness, as we start to reset our body, restore things a little bit, slow things down. Taking a full inhale here. And sigh it out. Allow yourself to tune into your mental and emotional body, continuing to breathe deep, freely and smoothly. Just check in where you are today, mentally, emotionally. Acknowledge the week. Acknowledge what lies in store for the weekend. And see if you can let each of those thoughts, each of those emotions go, one by one. Letting go of attachment, letting go of the story. And just allow yourself to tap more into the sensations of the body. Taking an inhale here. And sigh it out. Allowing those hands to rest on your thighs. Let your breathing just return to normal. Just kind of notice the sensations happening in the body, happening in the mind. You notice there's some type of an intention that you want to attach to this practice today. Allow that to take form in your mind's eye. Nothing really bubbles up to the mind. A great intention for today's practice is to just be. Just be with your breath, be with your body. We'll set that intention with an om or a sigh of the breath. Allow your hands to come to your heart center or cupping your heart. Exhale fully here. Inhale. Allow your hands to come down, allowing your eyes to blink open. We'll start off with one of my new favorites, the toe stretch. So we'll come onto our knees and we'll start to tuck those toes under. Having all 5 toes point the same direction. And again, if this is newer to you, if this doesn't feel good today, you can just lean forward and kind of push your hips back to get less of a stretch. For those that are a little bit more comfortable in this stretch, allowing yourself to sit right over those heels. We're just going to be here for a minute. We're going to alternate between the two. Again, just reminding people of the principles of Yin. Going to that first edge, that place where you feel discomfort, but not pain. It's a place that you can sit with in some discomfort and just notice the sensations. And we're going to target different joints today. We're only going to really do 2 Yin poses, and then the rest of the sequence you have the option to either be a Yin, continue on with the Yin tradition and feeling sensations, or go more into a restorative part of the practice to where you are going to then feel no sensations. So trying to feel all the sensations equally. Go ahead and point those toes back, sit back on those heels. And if this is feeling okay in your ankles, and if you want to, you always can stay here. You can either lean forward, sit on the block, or you can start to hover those knees a little bit. So with Yin, we're finding that edge, that sensation that's right there before pain. You don't want pain. Discomfort is okay. And then you settle into that stillness. Try not to fidget, try not to move, to run away from the discomfort. So you're sitting with that discomfort in stillness. And then we sit for time. So once you found that stillness, just drop into the sensations. Not only the sensations of the body, but also the sensations that happen to bubble up in the mind. And slowly transition, tucking those toes back under. First round is done. We have 2 more rounds of this. So with the Yin yoga, we get into the sensations of the joints. So we're trying to connect into the softer tissues. That fascia that kind of wraps around the muscles is kind of like a clean form that wraps around all of our muscles and our joints. And then we get into the ligaments and tendons that attach the bone to muscle and bone to bone. And just trying to bring them more energy, bringing them more vitality by putting a little pressure on them, creating a little stress, which then in return promotes a healthy blood supply to them. So trying to get them a little bit more new blood, healthy blood, trying to make them stronger. But then also in the Yin practice, for the transition, to those toes, sitting back. In the Yin practice, we target the meridians of the body. I believe today I sent out the meridians, and I will send it to you as well. But I wanted to give you an idea of where they are and how they run in the body, and some are superficial, some are deeper. And as we progress throughout the month, we will talk a little bit more about those. But these energy channels, these meridian lines that run along the body. And as you notice from the image, they mostly end or begin in the toes. They run up through the head, out through the arms. So all these poses where we're compressing or expanding, we're stimulating those meridian lines. We're able to unblock the energy that runs through those, the qi in ancient Chinese medicine. The Yin yoga practice it helps the meridian practice, the meridian lines, and stimulating them so nicely. And switch, last round here, tuck those toes. And if at any time it becomes too much and you need to stop on any of the poses, please do listen to your body. So we'll have this Yin pose and then another Yin pose that we're going to sit for about 7 or 8 minutes on both sides, each side. And then we'll transition into some more restorative. And in the restorative sessions, you want to feel all the sensations at the same time. So there's not one place that's standing out. Like right now, we know our toes, we can feel those, they are standing out. You want to feel all the sensations equally. So that's what we're going to try to go for. So it's almost like you're being supported like a big cloud. And transition last time. Try those toes flat. As we get deeper into the practice, there will be more moments of silence, less of me. More of you just dropping into your body, into your sensations. That's one of the reasons I have the music playing today. Hopefully you can hear it, so that you know you haven't lost me in those moments of silence. You are still here. You can just let yourself go, not only physically, but also mentally, into a restorative place. Slowly start to transition forward. Come onto those hands and knees just for a moment. Do a couple rounds of cat-cow, tuck the toes, maybe even take those toes in flats, tap them on the floor. Just a couple rounds of cat-cow, lengthening and extending the spine. And rounding the spine. And then as you're ready, start to transition to a seated position. And just pause there for a moment. You can pause with your legs out straight. You can pause with your knees bent. Whatever's going to feel best to you. Just kind of notice those sensations that are happening in the ankles, that are happening in the shins. And then from here, we're going to come into one Yin pose that pretty much targets all of the meridians, almost all of them, shoelace pose. So we're going to start off in half, and then we will eventually build our way up. If you feel like when you sit on the floor and you're sitting and you're just kind of rounded into the back, you have a couple options. You can bend your knees to sit up a little bit taller, or you can take a little cushion and slide that under your sit bones. So you just have a little bit more lift so that your sit bones are right at the edge of that cushion. So we're going to start with our right leg on top. So we're going to take that right leg, cross it over. So maybe the knees stack, maybe they don't, right? Maybe your foot's out to the side. Maybe you need some pillows or something to prop up under your knee, maybe the bottom knee. But just finding that sensation. So we're going to target the hips in this one. We're definitely going to target that top knee. And then just settle in here. So taking this first minute just to settle in. So keep that bottom leg extended for now. You will have the option to bend it if it feels good. And there's not a lot of sensation here. You can always start to kind of lean forward. So that's going to target a little bit more into the low back and into the spine. Start to tap into those sensations of your breath. Notice how your body moves as you breathe. And if this is feeling okay, you're feeling a good amount of sensation with this leg extended, you can leave it there. Otherwise, if you want a little deeper sensation in the hips, that front leg's going to bend back by your opposite hip. So you're in full shoelace pose. So knees are more stacked or on top, toward on top of one another. Mine don't stack. And then same idea, you can stay upright or you can start to pull forward a little bit. And again, just go to that first edge. Breathe. Nice, even breaths. You don't have to manipulate it too much. Just notice the sensations happening in the body. Notice the sensations as you breathe. then slowly make your way back up if you fold it down. Just gonna turn and face you. And then we're gonna start to lean over to the right. So away from the left, lean to the right. And just pause there when you start to feel that sensation on that left side. Maybe you drop your elbow onto a bolster or a block. Maybe your elbow even comes to the floor. It just depends on the sensations for you. You have options with your head. You can let your head drop down toward that bottom shoulder, feeling a stretch all the way on that neck. And then staying in the side stretch, we have an option for that left arm. The left arm can come behind you so that the back of your hand is kind of reaching for your opposite hip. Again, targeting more of the neck and shoulder. If you'd like more of a side stretch, you're going to take that top arm, reach it over your head, and just kind of let it rest on your head. Maybe your chin starts to tuck to your chest here. So whatever's going to feel best to you today in your body, where you're feeling a little stuck in energy. So in the shoulder or the sideways. And then breathe there. Notice if you're holding any tension in the jaw or in the neck. See if you can let that go. So a few more rounds of breath here. If your top arm is overhead, bring it down by your side. If it's behind you, slowly bring it out. And then slowly start to press into that bottom hand, bringing yourself up slowly back up to center. Just pause there for a moment. And then you're going to start to come forward again. So you have a couple options. You can just come forward with a flat belly over those thighs. Or I usually like to find a little bit more compression in my low back. So I like to bring a bolster right up into my belly by my hip. And I like to round right over that. So I push it right in there, compressing those meridians on the front side. And then you can let your neck just dangle. Maybe you rest your forehead on your hands. Allowing yourself to come forward, rounding into that spine any little bit. And again, if you're feeling it, you're doing it. Wherever you feel those sensations is where your body's meant to feel it. Just settle in here for a few more rounds of breath in this stillness. Take a full inhale here. And let it go. Slowly start to walk yourself back up. Pause there once you're at the top. And slowly start to hug that bottom knee up. Or sorry, top knee up. And then take that bottom knee, bending it up. Finding yourself just in a little bit of a tuck position, rounding forward, resting here for a couple breaths. And then taking those legs, extending them out in front of you. Just pause there. Notice if you can actually feel the energy start to move through your body. And then take any movements that you need to. Maybe ankle circles, maybe windshield wiper, or rock the legs from side to side. Maybe leaning back into the hands. Take a few moments and let go of that pose on that side before we go on to the second side. And then when you're ready, that left leg will come on top. So the left leg's going to be on top. And then you're just going to pause there. Just kind of notice this side might feel a little different than the other side. You might need to make different adjustments. Start to settle in. Notice how this side feels with that bottom leg extended. And if it feels okay, maybe start to lengthen forward a little bit. Just finding that first edge and breathing into it. Then again, you can always stay here with this leg extended, but if you feel you need more sensation, you can take that front leg and draw it back. And maybe you draw it back and this side doesn't feel good, so you extend it back out. You might have to make some adjustments. And then settle in here. Just be mindful of any sensations that are happening in that top knee or the bottom knee. We really want to target the hips and the low back here. That's where the most sensation should be happening. And slowly start to make your way back up. This time we're going to lean over to the left. So start to walk your hand out to the left side. Just notice how that feels. Maybe your elbows on a blanket, maybe it's on a bolster or a cloth. Allow that head to just kind of rest down toward the side. Then that right hand, depending on what you want, shoulder stretch, can go behind you. So you're kind of leaning back a little bit, getting into the neck and shoulder. Or if you'd like more of a side stretch down into the hip, bring that arm up and overhead. Again, realizing that both sides are going to be a little bit different. So you might need something a little different on one side compared to the other. And if it feels okay, maybe start to turn that gaze down. Anything that's going to help the neck here. Just notice the sensations as you breathe. Slowly bring that head back to neutral first. Release your arm down by your side if it's overhead or behind you. And then slowly make your way back up to center. Just pause there for a moment. And then from here, maybe start to come forward again, using any props you need to get into that pose best as possible for you. Letting your head either dangle, putting a little bit more stress on that cervical spine, or feeling the support of it by resting your forehead on your hands, on a block, on a bolster. And just settle into that stillness here. Settle into your breath. Just a few more cycles of breath here. And taking a full inhale here. And let it go. Slowly make your way up, being mindful not to go super fast. Taking your time, pausing once you hit the top. And then slowly coming out of it, taking that top leg up first. And taking the bottom leg up. Again, you have the option to go into the tuck position or extend those legs out straight away, whatever is going to feel best. Just move mindfully. Notice the sensations in the body. A lot of in the hips, the outer hip, the outer thigh, the knees. And taking those legs out straight. Just pausing there. Maybe while you let those legs just relax, maybe lean into your hands and open your chest a little bit. Let your head drop back if it's okay for the neck. And drawing the head back to center, making any motions with your legs that are going to feel comfortable to let go of that pose. And bring yourself back to center. So we're going to come into our first pose for restorative. If you want to take the yin approach and still feel lots of sensations in the hips, the knees, and the ankles, you can do that. You just use less props. So this is where it's going to be really handy to have a couch cushion or some pillows to put in between. We're going to start off with child's pose. So I have a couple props here. And I like to feel very supported. I'm going to go into more of the restorative positions. So I'm going to take my blanket down first so that I have a little bit of comfort for my knees and for my shins. And if you really need support for your ankles, you can even roll up the back of your roll there, and so that your ankle is going to lay right over the top of that little roll. And if you feel that being on your knees is not going to be happy for you today, you can place a block under your hips. That gives a little bit more support. So again, in this restorative time, we're going for more of like all the sensations being equal. So nothing's going to target. And you're going to slide whatever prop you have inside it kind of up between your knees. Maybe you prop it up a little bit so you can lengthen over it. And I just have another little blanket or towel here just to rest my head on so I can rest my neck neutrally. Some people like a little extra stretch, so they like to look to one side. I like to just look down. It just feels better in my neck. But after about 2 minutes, I'll have you switch your head the other way if you're a person that likes to lean your head one side or the other. All right. So pull that bolster right up into your hips, so it's going to support you. And then just start to lengthen forward. Those arms can rest wherever is going to feel best for you. Try to find yourself feeling supported all over, so not one area is feeling more sensation than the other. And then start to settle in. So for today, I'm going to look to one side just so you can kind of hear me when I talk. And just kind of feel the support of all the props. Make sure they're kind of filling in little spaces that feel like they're being compressed or they're feeling like there's too much tension on them. See if you can get that even sensation. And then once you're there, take a full inhale. And let it go. Let yourself just to drop into relaxation here. Let go of any muscle energy. Relax the jaw. Let your eyes close. Let yourself go inside your body. During these restorative poses, if you're doing them restorative style, you're going to just bring your awareness to the tip of your nose. Just be mindful of your breath, that sensation at the tip of your nose. For those that are doing more yin style, where you're feeling that target in the knees, the hips, the ankles, you're going to just breathe with those sensations there. For those that are doing a little bit more yin style, maybe you reach the arms forward to feel that length in the sideways and then let the arms relax. if you have your head turned to one direction, go ahead and take it and turn it the opposite direction, just so you're balanced on both sides. Taking a full inhale here. And let it go. If your head's turned to one side, bring it back to neutral and pause there. Taking another full inhale. And let it go. Slowly start to make your way back up. Make your way back up, remove any props from in front of you. Moving mindfully. Drawing those legs out in front of you. Just pausing there. So our next posture, again, you could go into the yin style of supported bridge, which is your hips on a block. You can go into that. Or you can go into the restorative position where you're going to need a few more props so you can feel supported. So again, I highly recommend either pillows off your bed. I like my couch cushions. They just give me a nice support. And it's a nice way to use your couch in a different way. So you're going to take your couch pillows or your blankets or your pillows and lay them down so they can cover your body from your feet to the mid back. So your upper back's going to kind of come off the top here. And so you might want to have an extra pillow or a blanket near your head. You might need some pillows or some support down by your feet so that your feet can feel supported. And then you are going to lay onto that prop. so that your shoulders, so I'm just gonna show you real quick and then I'm gonna let you have time to set up. Your shoulder's gonna come right off the top of it, kind of like you're doing shoulder stand almost, or you're doing bridge pose. So your shoulders are gonna touch the ground, but you're gonna feel this support of the bolsters underneath you, and then your legs are gonna go straight, so you're feeling this openness of the front body. And if you feel like you need maybe a little blanket over the top of you, a cushion over the top of you, so that you're feeling a little bit more supported there, you can do that. They give you some time to kind of settle in, to feel supported. Arms can be out by the side, they can rest on the belly. This is where I like to have that extra blanket. I like to cover myself up. Release from the pelvis to the chest. And then letting that head drop back. So feeling the support of the bolsters, shoulders faking it to the floor. So it's a little bit of a heart opener. And then take a full inhale once you're there. And sigh it out. Allowing yourself to drop in here. Allowing your whole body to feel supported. If you're in the supported bridge yin version, you can start to slowly maybe straighten the legs, feeling a little bit more compression in the low back. Being mindful, you just go to your edge and hold. Those that are in more of the restorative position, seeing if you can make it so that all of your body is feeling like it's supported equally. And then tap into that sensation of your breath. Taking a full inhale here. And let it go. Slowly start to bend your knees. And then slowly kind of just press into those feet so you can shift your hips to one side. And then slowly roll yourself over opposite away from where you shifted your hips. So you can just kind of gently slope off of that bolster or anything that you had under you. And just kind of pause there for a moment. And then using your hands for support, let that top leg extend, press into the top hand, and press yourself up so you're sitting on whatever was under you. And just pause there for a moment. Close the eyes, let your hands rest on your thighs. Just notice the effects from that pose. So going into one more restorative pose here. You have the option to do what we did last week with the supported Supta Baddha Komasana. So you would have, last time we took our pillows and we put them at a little bit of an angle. And then we sat, just to refresh your memory, and then we sat back against it with our props under our thighs. And we were here, we were covering our eyes and just comfortably here. So this is one option. But I said last week that I would show you legs up the wall. So you have that as an option. So if you're doing legs up the wall, which I'm going to go into and show you now. Legs up the wall, you're gonna want a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, something that's kind of round, you will take your blanket or some type of blanket or even a cushion and make it a little bit rounder and kind of roll that into a round. And then you'll take that over toward the wall. And from the wall, I'm gonna just place something down so I can be comfortable on underneath that. From the wall, you want to be about a block's distance, so this little width against the wall, like so that would be dropped right in there. That's about how far away you want to be, because you actually want your glutes, your booty, to be on the floor so that your pelvis is kind of over the top of that bolster. So that's kind of what you're going for when you go with your legs up the wall. So once you have that set up, you're gonna sit right on top of that bolster. So I'm gonna get right nice and close. And so I'm gonna sit right up on top of it. One of my hips is right next to the wall, so I'm gonna be on the wall. My other hip is on the bolster. And then I'm gonna lean into that bottom elbow. So I'm gonna go nice and slow. And then I'm gonna lean back. And as I do, I'm gonna take those legs up the wall. And my booty should come right next to the wall. That bolster's right. You might have to press into the wall to adjust the bolster so that your pelvis drops down, so that your hips drop down toward the floor. They may or may not touch, but they're going that way so that you can relax those hip flexors. So that top of your thigh. So if your hips are up here, that muscle on the top of your thigh is going to be really tight. So you want to drop your hips toward the wall a little bit more. And then from here, you're going to open up those arms. Maybe they rest on your belly, maybe they reach to the wall. Whatever's going to feel best to you, maybe covering up your eyes. And if you feel like you're too close to the wall, you can always push yourself back so that your knees can bend ever so slightly if it's too much for the hamstrings. But then once you're here, take a nice full inhale. And side out. Allow yourself to just drop into stillness. Letting your body feel supported by the wall, the bolster, the floor. See if you can systematically just kind of release any tension from your head to your jaw. Top of your head down to your jaw. And just systematically just kind of let go of any tension from your neck all the way to your toes. Taking a full inhale here. And let it go. For those that are in the reclined butterfly pose, slowly bend the knees. For those that are on the wall, you're going to slowly slide those feet down the wall. You're going to press into your elbows and kind of move yourself away from the wall just by scooching away a little bit, little by little, until eventually your hips can come on the other side of that bolster. And then cross your shins and let your knees drop toward the wall. It's like you're laying down in a seated position. Just pause there for a moment. Then using your arm as a pillow, roll yourself over to one side. Pause there a moment. Then mindfully pressing yourself all the way back up. Mindfully making your way back to seated. And you can stay near the wall. I'm just coming a little closer. Sometimes having that wall behind you for these last few moments is comforting. So find a comfortable seat. Allow your eyes to close. Bring your hands to your thighs, or maybe even bring them to your heart center straight away. Just take a moment to notice the sensations. Tapping back into that intention that you've set for this practice. Just allow yourself to become more present in your body, in your mind, in your space. Allowing the strength of this practice, the resilience of this practice help you as you transition off your mat into your evening ahead tonight. We'll seal the practice in with an Om or a sigh of the breath. Exhale fully here. Inhaling. Bowing your head slightly. Taking a moment, think of one thing in your life that you truly are grateful for. And holding on to that image in your mind's eye as you raise your head with a smile. Thank you for being here. Namaste. Lots of water, eat your veggies for sunblock.